like to talk to you a little bit, if that's all right, about Floyd Mayweather taking on Conor McGregor, which has been announced, and we're just waiting to see what's going to happen regarding the press conferences and stuff. Quite exciting times. What are your thoughts on that as a fight?
Right. Right, let me preface this with, I'm going to watch the fight. I'm definitely going to watch the fight. I'm going to get sucked into the build-up. I'm probably going to be having all sorts of discussions with everyone. I'm probably going to write an article on the fight as well. But the fight is it's a competitive mismatch when it comes down to boxing. MMA boxing, even the best MMA boxers in the world, they're not a patch on, you know, the top boxers in the world in boxing. And remember, this is a boxing match. This fight's not taking place in a cage. It's not taking place with 4-ounce gloves. It's taking place with, you know, 10-ounce gloves, because I heard they're fighting at 154, and it's taking place in a boxing ring. Floyd spent his whole life in a boxing ring. He spent his whole life professional boxing, more or less. So I can't see McGregor, you know, having any sort of success in that fight. But, you know, McGregor's won already, man. You know, man's gonna make X amount of million from this fight. He's crossing over from MMA. He's arguably now the biggest MMA star ever. So, like, regardless of the fight, he's won already. If he does have any sort of success in a fight, that's more or less going to be a win for him. I'd probably go as far as to say, even if he only goes the distance, it's probably a win for him as well. You know, because a lot of people are expecting Floyd to just go in there and just bang him out, which I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think Floyd's just going to go in there and bang him out, because regardless if McGregor's not an accomplished boxer, you have to remember he is an accomplished fighter, and you know, MMA is different, but he's still used to getting hit in the face. It's not going to be a complete shock for him, but then again, it's different sports, so I'm expecting Floyd to win that fight comfortably. You know, and people tell me about, you know, all it takes is one shot from McGregor. You know, he's got that left hand. Nobody can take the left hand. I'm like, bro, look here. Mayweather's been fighting the top elite boxers in the world for a long time. These guys can't land that one shot on him. What makes you think a guy from another sport is going to come in and be able to land that one shot? It's not going to happen. Essentially, what we're saying is, you know, like, Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi is the best football player in the world, so I think they could be the best rugby player in the world also, because, you know, they're fast and they've got speed and they can change direction. It's completely different sports. So yeah, Mayweather's going to win that fight. It's as a competitive spectacle, it's not really that enticing to me. I am going to watch the fight though, 100%, because I think the build-up is going to be, definitely going to be, it's going to be worth the pay-per-view price. Because one thing, you know, McGregor is very, very charismatic, and I think arguably he's probably the most charismatic guy that Mayweather's ever had to share the build-up with. So I wouldn't be surprised if going into the fight, you know, McGregor's just tearing him at every single press conference, and that will probably, you know, lead people to think that McGregor's in with a shot with the fight. But, you know, it is what it is.
We saw some leaked sparring footage which allegedly came out from Chris Van Heerden's team. Yeah. Did you watch any of that? Did you see anything? Yeah, man, I saw the sparring footage. I saw the leaked sparring footage from, you know, the one that McGregor sort of like leaked into the public, and obviously he was tuning up Van Heerden. Van Heerden then, you know, responded and released the full footage where Van Heerden was more or less just controlling him in the fight. I don't know. I mean, expect for a bit more footage to leak out in the coming weeks. You know, some sort of world-class boxer will be sparring with McGregor, and the footage will leak, and then, you know, it will be you know, I've never felt power like McGregor's, or his speed is underrated, and all that kind of stuff. And then, nah, man, Floyd's got this easy. If you was McGregor, what professional boxer would you bring into camp? Who do you think would help him prepare for someone like Floyd? Realistically, who do you think he could get?
I think the #1 guy to probably get, which will probably be a guy that flies under the radar, unless you're actually a boxing man that follows the sport closely, but someone like Steve Forbes. You know, Steve Forbes, he grew up under the Mayweathers. He was trained by Roger. He's brought into camp for a lot of guys over the years to prepare for
for Mayweather. He actually fought Oscar De La Hoya when Oscar De La Hoya was planning on having a rematch with Mayweather. Steve Forbes would be a good guy to bring in. Other than that, I don't really see anyone else that you can sort of bring in to replicate Mayweather's style. You probably have to bring in people or source people to replicate, you know, certain attributes from his style rather than sort of, you know, mimic himself. So you'd have to try and find someone that's got, you know, fast feet, uses the ring very well. Find someone that's got good, you know, trunk movement, and try and find someone that likes to throw fast single pot shots, bang, and try and do it like that. I don't think you'll be able to find someone that's going to replicate all that in one person. You know, some people are going to say, oh, you know, spar with Adrian Broner and stuff like that, but other than, you know, standing there in the sort of the Philly shell, as people like to call it, other than standing there in that sort of stance, Broner sort of offers no sort of resemblance to Floyd whatsoever. He's more or less static. He's quite flat-footed. He doesn't really move, and yeah. So I don't know, man. Maybe Steve Forbes. That's if he's still about. Other than that, just get a real sort of mixture of guys in.
Now, you've predicted a Floyd Mayweather win.
Yep.
If that's the case, what do you see Floyd Mayweather doing after, if he potentially gets to 50?
Right, I think Floyd Mayweather wins, and then I think Floyd Mayweather, you know, goes on a yacht around the world and, you know, parties for a bit. But I definitely think, regardless of what he says about he don't watch any other fight, he's going to be sitting home when Canelo and Triple G throw down, and I think he's going to be sitting there with his fingers crossed that Canelo comes through that fight, because if Canelo comes through that fight, that's a huge rematch on the horizon. You know, Canelo Mayweather 2 will be, you know, a tremendous blockbuster. It'll probably break pay-per-view records, because, you know, a lot of people are going to see that. A lot of people are going to think that, you know, Canelo, he learned from the Mayweather loss. He elevated. He's become the best in the sport since he lost to Mayweather. So I think that'll be the blockbuster after that. As long as Canelo wins. I think if Triple G wins, then it's just leave it. And I don't think he'll want anything to do with Triple G, to be honest.
Now, a lot of people try to discredit Floyd Mayweather's win against Canelo, saying that he fought him at the perfect time. Yeah. He boxed him before he came the superstar, the legend that he is now. So if they were to fight, I say in the next 6 months, do you think it'll be a different result from the first time? Do you think Canelo is evolved and advanced that much since their first fight? I think
Canelo's definitely evolved, and he's definitely improved since the first fight. I think that's evident. Anyone that watches him sees that he's improved. I don't think he's improved enough to beat Floyd, but then again, you know, how old is Floyd now? He's like 41. You know, he's 41. He may have slowed down. It's more a case of, you know, if Canelo's sort of, you know, acceleration and Mayweather's coming down sort of meet at the same level, then Canelo could beat him. But, you know, Floyd is 41, but let's be real, like, he's like a 25-year-old 41. You know, he lives in the gym. He doesn't abuse his body, from what we know of. He don't abuse his body with drink and drugs. He lives in the gym. He stays in shape more or less all year round. So I can't really see him all of a sudden just going off the cliff at like 41. And you see like Bernard Hopkins still operating at a great level, you know, in his 50s. So I don't think Canelo has improved enough to be able to reverse that decision.